Hey fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. A special thank you to our Amazon Prime members who have linked to their Twitch Prime account. I've been pounding you on that. Please keep doing it. Even if you do that, you can also, if you feel especially generous, donate via Patreon and be a patron. Thank you. And you can also subscribe via YouTube. If you're doing that, thank you. But it's really important, all of you, please link your Twitch Prime account and your Amazon Prime account. You can stick it to Amazon. Shane gets paid. It costs you $0. So I'm going to give you a riddle here. What can you do that costs you $0 that gets Shane paid? Oh, link your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account. If you got that right, go link it right now. It's in the description below.
This episode of Pachter Factor is brought to you by DeShazer Ryan Realty. Right now, Doug DeShazer has beautiful lots available adjacent to Kookanusa Lake in northwest Montana. Pull up your RV and access the hookups, or build your own construction. Either way, you have access to world-class fishing, hunting, boating, swimming, biking, hiking, and the internet. No matter where you're looking to buy, make Doug DeShazer your real estate consultant at 406-291-1643. That's Doug DeShazer at 406-291-1643.
Today's question from SIFTD from Cinetic. Square Enix recently announced it's changing its strategy. It's moving away from signing exclusivity deals and will aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy. Good for them. Why did Square Enix keep making these deals despite its games consistently performing below expectations? How did the payouts work on those exclusivity deals for big games like Final Fantasy? And is Square Enix smart for moving away from them? What can it do to invigorate sales for its upcoming games? Square Enix has not been very productive. And I mean, they've released like 15 versions of Final Fantasy VII. I can't even count. It's just like every time I see Final Fantasy VII, I'm like, didn't that come out 20 years ago? It's just the same game, reskinned, remastered, mobile, piece. I don't even know what they do. I don't care. I don't play them. The thing that really pissed me off was when they bought Eidos, they made Tomb Raider. It sold something like 7 million copies, and they announced that it was a disappointment. It's like, what the hell do you expect from Tomb Raider, which is a 30-year-old franchise? And the game was fine, and then Embracer bought the IP and the studio, and I'm not sure exactly where it is in the mix there now, but they still own it. So I just think Square Enix is a terrible company, poorly run, and they have no idea what they're doing. I think that their biggest problem is that they keep remaking. But the answer to your question is multi-platform would be brilliant, because if you've never owned a PlayStation, then what the hell? Of course you want to play it. Typically, when you grant someone an exclusive, they fund a chunk of the development for you. So typically, like Spider-Man's probably a really good example. Sony made the game. It was Insomniac that made the game. And so, what did Marvel pay for the development? Like, we don't know, but the answer is not very much. And so the even though Marvel sold fewer units on PlayStation exclusive than they would have on 3 consoles, they didn't fund very much development, if any. And my guess is Sony actually ate all of it. So you've seen the leaked documents, but that game probably costs around $200 million to make. And then I'm not sure about the marketing. Like, I actually think it costs another couple $100 million of marketing, but that probably was borne by Marvel. So again, it came out of sales, but Marvel's cut probably credited Sony with the marketing spend. But Marvel did the math and said, we're going to make just as much money on a PlayStation exclusive, and we don't have any capital at risk because we don't have to build the game. And I get that. And I actually think, same thing. Could Marvel have hired Insomniac? Well, sure, before Insomniac was sold to Sony, but not after, And could they have hired Insomniac knowing that Insomniac, with the exception of, one game, I think, was a Sony exclusive studio? Could they hire Insomniac to make a multi-platform game? Probably not. I talked to Jay Ong, who is running all of Marvel games, and I asked him why, and he goes, we really wanted Insomniac to work on the game. He goes, the biggest selling point to us was Insomniac. And I believe that. I mean, it's a freaking awesome studio, and they obviously did a great job on both, Spider-Man and Miles Morales, and I get it. So the answer is Marvel was pretty much made whole by allowing Sony to develop and incur the development costs. Sony sold more units probably on PlayStation, sold more PlayStations because they had an exclusive on both titles. Same with Square Enix. Square Enix probably, somehow Sony funds still. Square Enix does the development of Final Fantasy in-house. There's a bit of the, jingoism. Japanese companies like working with Sony and don't like working with Microsoft. But that doesn't mean they shouldn't be working with Nintendo, who's also a Japanese company. Ultimately, it's a smarter strategy to be multi-platform. I think Square Enix has tired franchises. They are super popular among the few million people who play every Final Fantasy game, but I don't think they have broad appeal. And the way to broaden the appeal is put it on a console that's never had it before. So put it on Nintendo and put it on Xbox, and that'll probably broaden the appeal and they'll sell more units. They are not a good company, and the whole way they handled IDOS was just proves out. I don't even know what happened to Hitman. What happened to other IDOS titles? But Square Enix really wasted a lot of great assets. And they're not the only ones. Obviously, Activision's wasted a bunch. EA's wasted a bunch. What can they do? I would put out a new damn game and not keep remaking the same old game. I mean, I honestly think if you want to invigorate sales, put something new out. But again, I'm not a Square Enix fan. What they do is, okay, so let's just again say a game costs $200 million. Sony will say, okay, we'll credit you with the first $200 million you spend on the game development. Profits are irrelevant. No royalty. First $200 million of sales comes back to you as a recoupment of your costs. Then we'll split the profits based on our normal revenue share. So it's payback. It's just, and as opposed to when you make a normal game, you spend $200 million. Now you start negative $200 million. And then you have to share everything with Sony. You have to give them their 30% cut. Sony would say, no, we'll take zero cut until you get all $200 million back. I mean, so it's a better deal. And if you're Marvel, it's even better. Sony goes, we'll spend the $200 million. You spend $0, and then from $1, we'll revenue share with Marvel. So that's what happened with Marvel games. And Marvel's obviously in a position to do that, because they don't have their internal development anyway. So, where was the X-Men game, I guess is Insomniac. Where are all the other Avengers games? They're not being made, they're mobile. Because Marvel doesn't have a studio, they license everything out. You sell 15 million of Spider-Man on PlayStation, so you're probably going to sell 7 on Xbox, something like that. But if it was not exclusive, you might only sell 13 on PlayStation. You probably sold a couple million. So you're going to sell 20, and instead you sell 15. So you got to make up for 5 million in lost sales, and their profit on those 5 million units was probably just about exactly $200 million, but they didn't incur the development cost. So for them, it's really close, but they also get from Sony, we'll promote the hell out of it, we'll spend extra marketing, whatever. We'll feature it on the dashboard so it's the first game downloaded. There's a lot of ways to extract value, and again, I don't think it's an easy decision. It's a close decision for everybody, which is why you see so few platform exclusives. I mean, you see first party, but third party exclusives don't happen that often. And, GTA was a PlayStation exclusive for the first 2 and then not when San Andreas came out. I think, who else has gone multi-platform? I can't even think of any other third-party games that were PlayStation exclusive other than Japanese games. There are a bunch of Japanese titles. And Xbox third-party exclusive, Sunset Overdrive, there really have been none that are third-party. That was Insomniac, and it didn't work. So it's not a good economic decision most of the time. Marvel's in a unique position because they don't have internal development capability and they have great IP. So that it's just one of those weird things. Square Enix has internal development capabilities, so they can do this. For our Patreon patrons and our YouTube subscribers, thank you very much. It's keeping us afloat. For everybody, including the people who are patrons and subscribers, please try to remember to link your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account. It is really easy to do, and you're helping us out. So please do us a solid. You're helping us. You're sticking it to Amazon. How does it get any better than that, right? So if you heard me say that and you haven't done it, please follow the instructions right below. It's a couple of clicks. You got to do it every month or so. So please remember to redo it if you haven't done it in a while. We get a couple of bucks for nothing, we, Shane. And you already paid for it. That's the crazy thing. This is a perk Amazon provides to you for free, and you paid for it. Why would you let it sit in Amazon's pocket instead of giving it to Shane? So please, thank you. If you've done that, you're the best. I'll see you guys on Twitter @MichaelPachter. See ya.